CoffeeZilla posted a video. There's more stuff about Epstein that we gotta talk about. A lot of you guys watched that one Pablo Torre video I made recently, and it was kind of crazy in some of the revelations. I've talked about Epstein. I've talked about his weird relationship with Trump, but it seems like it just the hole just keeps on digging itself. There's still more to find out. But let's see what CoffeeZilla could provide to the conversation.
Jeffrey Epstein files that they hadn't publicly put out yet, but we got access to them. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to access them. Here's what that looks like. It's volume 8 of the files, but you can see right now that they've only released 7 data sets. And so myself, the guys at Jmail and the guys at DropSite, we've been investigating this. I've partnered with them to kind of look at some of these files, and they got access to volume 8 early. You would just type it in the URL. It wasn't like indexable on search, but you could just type in the specific URL and it would just come up. You could download the entire zip file, and that's what we did. We've been looking through it. I want to go over some of it because I believe some of what we've seen directly comes.
Israel or Palestine? Is that like English or Spanish and I have to stand still or I'm gay? Is that the game we're playing? I can't speak Israel or Palestine. So, am I gay? Am I cooked? GG's? W.
Contradicts the FBI's earlier statement that, oh, there's no evidence or we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. That's what they told us, right? They said, we've already looked through the files. You don't need to see the files back in July. Of course, all the pressure has made them now start releasing some of this stuff. And we believe that this was slated for release, but remember, they weren't going to release all the files yet. They had to hold some back. Well, we believe that these 11,000 files are part of what they held back because clearly they aren't out and clearly they were ready because a lot of these are redacted. I mean, already you can see we found several files that were once again over 100 pages of redacted information. So it was all ready to be released. It's unclear why it wasn't. But let me caveat before we get into the material that this is a breaking story. And as such, I'm sure there's going to be some pieces of information that we are interpreting or trying to interpret live. And because of that, I want to warn you to withhold your judgment on some of this stuff until we get more evidence. I'm sure the president's going to be asked about some of this stuff. I'm sure Todd Blanche, Pam Bondi, they're going to get asked about this because it is extremely damning, I think, what we see in some of this. Specifically, I want to draw your attention immediately to the 10 co-conspirators that are mentioned in some of these emails in 2019. Now, this is just alarming stuff because prior to this, remember that all we really had was Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. That's the only people who have ever faced any charges at all. Ghislaine Maxwell, the only one who actually.
There was one more guy that we saw in the Pablo Torre video, I think, but this guy was kind of like helping from the UK, somewhere around there.
She faced consequences, right? But in 2019, apparently there were 10 co-conspirators. Now, the people who were sending this to and from have been blacked out, but at the bottom, we see that this is the violent crime section, crimes against human trafficking unit. And we can see that of the 10 co-conspirators, 3 have been located in Florida, served grand juries.
All right. So these are additional co-conspirators to the Epstein situation, right? And 10 of them is kind of crazy. Obviously, Ghislaine Maxwell is one. And the guy from UK is another one that I don't know if it's mentioned here. I think you could say that the governor of the Virgin Islands is probably one as well. I'm curious to see how, what conclusions we could draw. Let CoffeeZilla cook a little bit.
Subpoenas, one in Boston, one in New York City, one in Connecticut were served for.
So 3 have been located in Florida. What 3 individuals in Florida could we think of? One in Boston, one in New York City, and one in Connecticut. Northeast is cooked. Were located and served.
10 are outstanding with attempts having been made. What is a wealthy businessman in Ohio?
I live in Ohio. Who's the guy in Ohio?
Is being sent to CV, and the remaining 3 are currently out of pocket. This is stunning stuff. Previously, we did.
Oh, who could these people be? What conclusions? What names do people have in their mind that they want to drop? It probably is a billionaire. It's probably someone very rich. I know one guy that's from New York. I know one guy that is from New York. I know. Hey, let me repeat this so the top and the far back hear me. I know one guy from New York. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna leave it there. What names do people have? He needs to chill before his heart pops. Guys off some Adderall trying to talk about crime. To be fair, I do have it on 1.25 speed, so it is speeding him up a little bit. But yeah, the Ohio Rizzler did learn. Yo, where's that guy? I gotta keep away from him. I gotta tell people about him.
Not know how many co-conspirators were suspected of, or I'm not aware of anything like that. And additionally, some of the details on this are revealed later because we see this subject line. It says co-conspirators at the top, and it says blank does not need to head out. We made contact with blank last night.
Why are we redacting blank's name? Why are we redacting this name? Fuck this guy. Reveal the name.
New York City. Blank last night in New York. Contact was made with blank, blank, and blank. By the way, I love how these potential co-conspirators are people who are being blacked out. Like, why? I thought the whole point of this was you couldn't redact people for personal information reasons or for public embarrassment. You could only redact on the basis of it being a victim. And I'm not sure how these people could possibly be victims.
I'm like, for real. How can they? Yeah, I don't know why the fuck their names are redacted. Why is Trump's friends being redacted? I don't know. Redacted. They're definitely criminals. This is wild. Wild.
EPSTEIN Files Transparency Act prohibits redactions, quote, on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. Has anything been redacted on that basis?
Absolutely, positively not.
But anyways, you can see that it says
he just lied to her face. He was like, hey, I'm gonna lie to your face and you're gonna do nothing about it. That is what Blanche just did. He lied to her face without any regard of our sanity. Check out false flag operations. What's that? Tell me what that is. And then I'll consider checking it out after this. Absolute positively not.
attempts were made to blank and Brunel. That's Jean-Luc Brunel, the famous who's now dead. Blank.
Attempts were made to Brunel. I don't know who Brunel is. Who's Brunel?
Is confirmed to live in New York, was away for the holiday weekend. We did not have a good address, but an attempt was made in New York. Attempts are made to Maxwell today. Blank. You get it. Like, it's all the people they suspected this whole time are redacted, of course. And they say, I do not know about.
CIA can't work in countries, so try again. Oh, you guys are arguing between CIA and FBI. Got it. I had no interaction with those redactions in my Bill Clinton voice.
Ohio contacting Wexner. Now, that's a reference to Les Wexner, the former.
Lex Wexner. We do know about Lex Wexner. I did not know he was an Ohio. Of course, he's a fucking Ohio guy. Am I stupid? We literally watched the video on stream, and the video is on my channel right now. When Pablo Torre talked about Lex Wexner. Lex Wexner has his name on the Ohio State Buckeyes new training facility. I literally knew this. I knew this and I completely forgot. Lex Wexner is the CEO of Victoria's Secret, or one of the important people from Victoria's Secret. And he gave Epstein a lot of models to talk to. So Wexner is a co-conspirator. Maxwell is a co-conspirator. This Brunel guy is a co-conspirator. We need some more names. So we got Lex Wexner, Maxwell, this Brunel guy.
CEO of Victoria's Secret. This is huge. We've long suspected that he was, of course, one of the co-conspirators. And obviously, the fact the FBI suspected it isn't a 100% proof confirmation. But clearly, they were serving grand jury subpoenas. I mean, that must be who they're talking about. One wealthy businessman in Ohio.
You guys are battling Master Muscles Shroom Redacted. Type of stuff to the big boys. All right, boy. Shout out the big boys.
Because later it's confirmed by this whole idea of Ohio contacting Wexner. And you can see at the bottom, this is from the FBI New York. When you get a chance, give me an update on the status of the 10 co-conspirators. This is really bad to know that we knew as early as 2019 the right people to target, and yet our FBI, who's had evidence of this the entire time or leads on it, has declined to prosecute, right? Because this is what the FBI now tells us. Oh, don't bother. Don't worry about it. That's what they wanted us to believe in July. Fast forward to December, we find out there's 10 guys that they knew about since like 6 years ago. You know, it's insane. Even over here, we see that in one of the lawsuits, I believe this is with Maxwell, the government actually wanted to refer to people at trial as co-conspirators of the defendant, aka Maxwell, for the purposes of a rule. And then they say Jeffrey Epstein, and then there are two names listed there who are going to be listed.
Why y'all beefing in the chat? I'll slap you real life. What the fuck is going on in the chat, bro? Why y'all beefing? Y'all beefing about nothing.
It as co-conspirators. Again, who are those people? We were told that the only co-conspirator now is Maxwell, and if you don't believe that, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist. But back in 2020, this was an idea not just promulgated by wackos, it was promulgated by who? The FBI themselves, the Department of Justice. Look at this. Co-conspirator question transcript. This is from USA NYS. They say, question, when Jeffrey Epstein died, a lot of people asked, who's next? Is the government going to hold people who are accused of helping him recruit these girls? Are they going to hold them accountable? And then the answer is, well, I'll note that the original charges against Jeffrey Epstein contained a conspiracy charge, and we allege that there were conspirators involved. Jeffrey Epstein couldn't have done what he did without the assistance of others. And I can assure you that our investigation is moving forward, except I guess not. Against everyone except for Ghislaine Maxwell, it got killed. Like Ghislaine Maxwell was the only one who faced justice, right? Except then she got moved to Club Fed, to this nice prison, right? And by the way, that a whole interesting interview we saw happen with Todd Blanche, which is Trump's former defense lawyer. So he got grilled on Meet the Press about his relationship. Like, why did Ghislaine Maxwell go to this nicer prison immediately afterwards? And while he declines to comment on it, he says something very interesting.
Why was she moved just days after you interviewed her, Mr. Blanche?
So that's a Bureau of Prison security issue that I will not talk about.
Did you have anything to do with it? Did you have anything to do with it?
Let me finish. First of all, I am responsible for the Bureau of Prisons. So every decision that they make lands on my desk to the extent it needs to. But just let me talk about the security issue. At the time that I met Ms. Maxwell, there was a tremendous amount of scrutiny and publicity towards her, and the institution.
I don't give a fuck about scrutiny toward Ghislaine Maxwell. What? What kind of response is that? What the fuck are we talking about? What do you mean? Okay. All right. Okay, continue.
She was suffering numerous threats against her life. So
I don't give a fuck if she was suffering from threats. I don't give a fuck. Like, who are you trying to appeal to? Who's your audience? This is crazy. I agree, Qual. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
the BOP is not only responsible for putting people in jail and making sure they stay in jail, but also for their safety.
All right, so he's like, yeah, that's crazy. That's
Okay. All right. Sure. Let's feel bad for Maxwell, not all those women, little girls that she coerced to meet with Epstein. Let's feel bad for Maxwell. Okay.
So no, I'm not going to talk about that, but every decision lands on my desk. I mean, eventually he goes on to say that, oh, she was in so much danger. We were worried about her safety as a prisoner. I just got to say there's a lot of concern about Ghislaine Maxwell. All of a sudden, I don't know where that came from. There's not a lot of concern about these conspiracies.
You wonder why they want... Who are you talking about? Nah, the people on the right don't want your guns. They want you to have guns. So you can shoot up little kiddie schools and then send those kiddie schools to an island.
That I guess we've swept under the rug, that we don't care about anymore since 2019. Yes, we knew about them and didn't care. What's even more concerning is our president also seems concerned with the wrong people. Like, while Todd Blanche is concerned about Ghislaine Maxwell's safety and well-being, you've got Trump concerned about the people who are going to be unfairly implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein files, rather than worrying about how to catch the people that we obviously let go through the cracks.
The victims were protesting that too many of them were redacted.
I know there are a lot of people that are angry about all of the pictures of other people, but I think it's terrible. Look, I like Bill Clinton. I've always gotten along with Bill Clinton. I've been nice to him. He's been nice to me.
We know why you like Bill Clinton. We know why you like Bill Clinton. We know why you like Bill Clinton. Continue. Yeah, I wonder why they killed kids. Shock it all. Well, Planned Parenthood killed more than cancer. Planned Parenthood killed more than cancer. Based. Let's compare abortion to kids dying in mass shootings. Based. So based. So based. Yes. Yes. Let's compare them.
We've always gotten along, respect them. I hate to see photos come out of him, but this is what the Democrats, mostly Democrats and a couple of bad Republicans, are asking for. So they're giving their photos of me too. Everybody was friendly with this guy. I think it's a terrible thing. I think Clinton's a big boy. He can handle it. But you probably have pictures being exposed of other people that innocently met Jeffrey Epstein years ago.
I'll be honest, he gets off track from here, but the point he was making is that those poor, innocent, bankers who were meeting with Epstein, the poor lawyers who were meeting with Epstein, like all of Epstein's friends are just caught up in this unfortunate thing.
Now we know who he's protecting. He's protecting those co-conspirators. He's protecting those co-conspirators. His wealthy billionaire friends.
And it's just such a reversal of what previously the DOJ and FBI believed. In fact, they believed it so much that they got a federal search warrant for the SDNY, and they got it. And part of the seizable data, part of the stuff that they commanded them to seize as part of the search warrant, which, by the way, I think you need some kind of like standard of evidence for. I'm not a lawyer. You guys can chime in. But you can't just get a search warrant without some kind of evidence that you believe there's a crime that's been committed. And part of it says evidence concerning the identity or location of co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein, including blank and Ghislaine Maxwell. So again,
why they blanking out blank? Who is blank? You know, it'd be crazy if it just says Donald Trump or Bill Clinton, Lex Wagner. Who else? What other names we think it could be? What's that one prince's name? Prince Andrew? I fucking don't know. Prince Andrew? I don't know. There's that one individual from the UK that I just don't remember his name. Him. The witch hunt was sitting on the actual evidence. Woos. Yeah, good comeback. Yeah.
Who is blank? Well, they keep redacting the names of these co-conspirators uncharged, remember, and now they're saying we have no evidence to charge anybody. Clearly, they had evidence for a search warrant, and it's just completely ridiculous that some of this stuff is redacted and that we're viewing the rich and powerful people who are mentioned.
Michael Obama, how about you? That is disgusting from you, Josh. That is disgusting. Look at all this is disgusting from you, Josh.
As the victims here. Now, that's all I want to talk about for now. Remember, this is a developing story, so there's, I'm sure, going to be more evidence that comes out. I will try to keep you updated. I'm probably going to cover more of this stuff in the future because there's so much here, but I had to get this out while it was basically not public yet. I mean, I think it's eventually going to be, we don't know. You can access all of it at jmail.world. I'll leave a link in the description. They have a special like drive section. The original pitch was it's like email.
So going back here, I'll make a clip out of this real quick, because I think this is fascinating. So right here, but keep track of the timestamp. So I'm watching CoffeeZilla's video as he helps break down the Epstein information. Shout out. And one thing that we kind of already knew, but now that we're getting pen to paper, this is information that they definitely don't want to give us. 10 co-conspirators to the Epstein situation. 3 have been located in Florida, 1 in Boston, 1 in New York City, and 1 in Connecticut. So that's what? 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, and then 4 of the 10 are outstanding with attempts have been made. And then 1 is a wealthy businessman in Ohio. So I'm curious who people think these people are. Who are these co-conspirators? We know that the guy in Ohio is more than likely Lex Wagner, who is the CEO of Victoria's Secret, who was sending Victoria's Secret models to meet up with Epstein. It may have something to do with helping Epstein introduce Melania to Trump. I'm just saying that's an allegation and it's a possibility. So Lex Wagner, terrible individual. He could be potentially one of the co-conspirators. I know there's a guy from UK that apparently helped as well. They one of the outstanding people also might be the governor of the Virgin Islands, who is helping Epstein as well get girls onto the islands. I don't know Who else? It could be Big Mike, aka Michelle. Trump, but hit Kirk. Wonder who loved Israel. I don't know. No idea. Trump loves Israel. Who else could these be? It'll be kind of hilarious if the one in New York City is there's a guy in New York, a very notable guy. He has his Trump Towers in New York, I believe. It'd be kind of crazy if that guy in New York is Donald Trump. I don't know who these other guys could be, though, or other gals. It could be anybody. Curious to what people think. So I'll leave that up for the clip. Curious to see what names people put in the comments when I post this clip. Redacted Rico. Yeah, this shit is redacted like hell. Shout out, man. Shout out. I probably should have a dedicated stream looking at the Epstein files. I did one other stream to look at the Epstein files. And when I did that one, I saw the one message about Putin having evidence of Donald Trump sucking off Bubba. And people think Bubba means Bill Clinton.